One more drink, one more drink. You know in the morning for sure we gon' stink. One more round, one more round. It's 5 a.m., you pricks, the barkeep frowned. This is what we do, catch up for a few. We'll riff and talk some shit and then we'll sleep till 2. Talk some shit and then we'll sleep till 2.
Hello, folks. Here we are. We are here. We're drinking. It's Sunday, and we're podding. What's shaking, Fetty?
It's a day drink.
Yes.
And so I'm drinking a day drink, man. This is, I'm doing a little Americano action. A little Campari vermouth. I put a little vermouth in my hair. A little vermouth and some soda. I go lemon spindrift. It's kind of nice. A little day pick me up. I like it.
Boy, nobody consume. I think Sam Morril is keeping the vermouth companies in business. You are the only guy under 40 using 3 bottles of vermouth a week.
I've been drinking, dude. I was at the cellar the last 2 nights. So
oh, nice.
It's hard to just see all these people you haven't seen for a while and not get excited. Like, it's funny you're drinking throughout the pandemic because you're like, I'm fucking losing my mind. But then you start drinking when you're seeing people because you're like, it's a celebration.
Right. It's so true. And plus, just something in your biology and your genes. You sit at that table, you're in that room, you're with your friends, you're like, give me a cocktail, you cum guzzling Nazi. You just need it. It goes right back to you.
It's so nice, man. Yeah, it was great. It's great to see some of those people again. And the crowd was, it was like a small little open mic-y setup, but they were good, man.
Is it still the plexiglass?
It's still the plexiglass, but I think we're moving away, hopefully.
Yeah, we're getting away from that. But I always say, for the people who don't know, at the Comedy Cellar, just to play it safe, you're literally in a plexiglass phone booth delivering your jokes. And it feels like you're on an exhibit of stand-up comedy in the future at the Smithsonian. Like, this is what it used to be like. And you feel like the guy in there, like, wow, this was an old art form that got canceled in 2024.
You feel like you're in there. You feel like they should take your spot pay and just shoot money all around. You have to just grab it behind the thing.
Yes. I got in trouble for saying it was the Louis C.K. cage because you can't get hit. Let's do it, folks.
Where were you this weekend?
Oh, man, one of the great clubs, one of the great weekends, Columbus, Ohio, Funny Bone, best Funny Bone in the nation. Sold it out, just killer, not a bad show in the bunch. 3 on Saturday, great time.
That's wild, man. Yeah, I've been there once. I never done the club. I opened for Aziz in a theater in Columbus, and it was a beautiful theater. It's a great city.
This is going to get me some Twitter hate, but I think best city in Ohio. I'm sorry, Cleveland. I'm sorry, Cincinnati. Over the Rhine. I'm over it.
Cincinnati's basically Kentucky.
That's true. That's a good point. You take a hop, skip, and a jump, and you're in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's just Kentucky with Skyline Chili. That's Cincinnati. And then Cleveland's pretty low-key cool, though. I like Cleveland.
I like Cleveland, but it took a second. They had a big chip on their asshole with we're a factory town and we got LeBron and the Indians and all this. But once they got over that and bought a cocktail bar and a vegan place, they kind of turned it around.
When LeBron left the first time, they did have that like I just got dumped energy, and it was kind of like, all right, dude, calm down, don't hit me,
right on edge.
But but Cleveland, they've kind of bounced back. They got the win. They're kind of like, we're good now. They had the biggest, I think, sports drought of any city. It was like 54 years, any sport.
Totally. And then, boy, they came back hard with the baseball and everything. But Cleveland was such a big booming thing in the 50s. It almost feels like the guy in high school who was peaked, and then now he's in college, or now he's hanging out at the high school parties, and he's in college, and he's got the Letterman jacket on. He's like, I scored that touchdown against McGee in '88, and you're like, all right, it's over, move on. And I feel like they finally moved on.
It's a real Al Bundy city, for sure.
Yes.
But they have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is epic, and they have. I mean, Cleveland. Yeah. I'm going to be there next month. I'm fucking excited, man. I can't wait. Hilarities. So.
Oh, that's a great club.
One of the best clubs in the biz.
To Sam and Nick.
Two of the best. Well, you guys have been sending us emails, so we want to give you some shine here because you've been sending so many good emails. Should we read peeves, recs, jokes? Mark, what should we start? By the way, it's we might be drunk pod at gmail.com if you want to send them in. We usually just do it on the Patreon, which you should all sign up for.
Yes.
But if not, give us an email. We'll throw some of these out here and there. Why not?
Yeah. I met some fans after the show, and they're like, "We love We Might Be Drunk. We love One More Drink. We love." They had every name. They're half in the bag. They're getting all the names wrong. They're like, "We love Tuesdays with Drinks and One More Stories." They're like mixing everything up. Pod don't drink. They got me in a headlock. Breathing on me, but it was fun. It was great. So yeah, that's the email. That's the Patreon. Get on it. And this is a little taste for you to wet the beak. I got a Raul Teledavara. This is a pet peeve.
Teledavara to me, baby.
Yeah. It's called Do What You Want. I hate it when I ask someone for advice on something important and they answer back, "You should do what you want, man." If I knew what to do, I wouldn't ask you for advice. Saying do what you want when someone asks you for advice contributes as much to the conversation as DJ Khaled does every one of his songs. It's just one line and then silence. That's a great analogy. DJ Khaled's talentless.
It's interesting. It's a great point. I hate when people do this. I will ask doctors COVID advice sometimes. I'm like, well, what should I do about this? They're like, you should do what makes you feel safe. Like, cool. Could have gotten that from a cashier. Thanks for the assistance there.
Yes. It's so empty. And then the guy feels cool. He feels like McConaughey with his shirt off and a joint and the bongos. Like, do what you want, man. It's all about spiritual and living life. It's like, shut up, get a job, get a haircut. What are you talking about? It is what it is of advice.
Exactly. Do what you want. It's like, I wanted to ask you, and I wanted some fucking valuable feedback. Thanks for nothing, dickhead. It's kind of like when someone's like, just be yourself. And you're like, hey, I am myself. This is me. Yeah. This is not helping me.
Yeah. Me is the one who needs help. I'm clueless. Myself sucks. I'm trying to be somebody better. That be yourself thing is a big ruse.
Yeah. I remember I said it to someone like years ago and I immediately was like, I'm sorry. That was awful.
Right. You know who's himself? Harvey, Cosby, Hitler. They were themselves.
Jeffrey Epstein, that guy did not need any help being himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Be someone else.
Totally. I have a special called Don't Be Yourself. It's too much, I remember the whole thing started because there was a guy on the subway like freaking out and rapping and yelling and everything. And somebody goes, "Hey man, can you calm down? Can you chill out?" One guy, and he goes, "I'm just being me. I'm just being me." And you're like, yeah, well, don't. You suck. We hate you. Be anybody else.
You know when this all started? With reality TV, when people, instead of being a cunt, they were like, I'm a personality.
Yes.
It became almost cool to be a piece of shit. I'm being real. Cool. Be pleasant.
Yes, exactly. Pleasant is better because no one's ever phony and mean. No one's ever like, you piece of shit. Sorry, I'm trying something new. I'm working on a new image. It's always mean is always real.
Yeah, that's true. It's never Mother Teresa's never like, I'm just keeping it real.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so don't be yourself out there and do what you want, folks. But yeah, do what you want sucks because what you want to do is nothing. So don't tell me to do what I want because then I'll just go home and jerk off and put pajamas on.
What I want to do is punch you in the throat for giving me that fucking advice.
There you go. So great.
What? I did tell you to be yourself. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I can't press charges. All right, thanks, Raul. That was good stuff.
Yeah, I like that, Raul. I like a good peeve.
Yes.
A peeve gets us going. I kind of like it.
Oh yeah, we're fired up.
Let's see what we got.
I never told you what I was drinking, but I want to hear you.
Oh, what are you drinking, buddy? Holy shit! No, I got to know.
Oh, all right. Well, it's midday. I'm going back to. It feels like spring is here. Going. Oh shit! Full pickleback with the pickle in it, and it's goddamn refreshing.
So you're doing is that just pickle and whiskey?
Pickle, whiskey, ice with a pickle spear in it. Classic.
Damn. I've never seen someone. I've seen people do the shots. I've never seen someone do it as a cocktail.
I feel like it's great. It's all you really need because the pickle juice cuts it so much. It's perfect. It's almost like a martini with whiskey.
You know, you can do. I almost did that another episode, but I didn't have the vermouth. I have the vermouth now, the dry vermouth. I always have the sweet, but you can do a martini, just pickle juice, vodka, a little dry vermouth, and you got a pickle martini.
Nice.
I might bring that to the show in a week or two.
Ooh, that sounds like a great idea.
Little teaser.
And you can even get the little pickles instead of olives.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. They used to do, you know what they used to do? Speaking of hilarities, which is one of my favorite clubs, they used to do a banana pepper martini, and it was one of the best things I've ever drank in my life because you get a little spicy, but it was pretty wild.
That sounds great. What a great idea.
You feel like a real puss ordering it, so you got to drink that in the green room. But I was like, "Oh, this is nice."
It's still savory though. That's what saves you. These guys, I hate to say it, I'm a cunt, but I saw a couple guys this weekend ordering a daiquiri with the fucking what do you call the whipped cream on top. I completely lost respect for the guy. I look, I'm no tough guy. I'm a twink and a half, but I see this guy and I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? I would never hire you.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be rough if you just hired someone for a job and you saw him in a bar drinking a daiquiri and you're like, I fucked up. Daiquiri is for the beach only. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Go to Hawaii or you're on the beach in Puerto Rico or something, get a pina colada, get a daiquiri. But I mean, we're at a comedy club for Christ's sake.
It's too much. Like it doesn't tell me anything. It just tells me like you wish you were on vacation. That's all it tells. Right. Or that you can't handle alcohol at all. Or that you have the palate of a fucking 9-year-old boy. What are you doing?
That's what it is. Grow the fuck up. Get some hair on your chest. Grow a pair. And somebody had a great joke. Who was it about how the people who drink the fruitiest, sweetest drinks are hot chicks and big black dudes? And it's so true. It's such a great observation. You know, like black guys get those like blue lagoons with the umbrella in it. And you're like, what are you doing, man? You're like this running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're drinking a goddamn, Slurpee.
It's so true. I remember Mike Yard once at the Cellar, tough dude, been fucking shot.
Yeah.
He's like, much tougher man than me. Yeah. Anyway, he's drinking Bailey's Irish Cream, and I was like, ooh, I just started fucking with him. And he goes, I could still kick your ass. I'm like, yeah, but I still get to make fun of you.
You're right. I mean, if you're wearing a tutu, you can still kick my ass too, but I can still mock you for it. Two things can exist.
Like, you're gonna kick my ass, but afterwards you're gonna sit back down and finish a Bailey's Irish Cream.
That's perfect. That's so true. Yeah. Who wins here? I'm on the floor bleeding, and you're like, ooh, it's so sweet.
Ooh, let me double fist with a mango vape.
Right. Dimitri Martin had this great joke. He's like, I think we can get guys to quit smoking. We just put 2 tiny balls on the cigarette, so it's like, and people are like, I'm never smoking again.
That's fucking good, man. Dimitri had some good ones, man.
He had some great stuff. I mean, I think he's still writing. So I
just haven't seen him forever. Yeah, no, oh yeah, well, you write an hour like that. It's one line at a time. I don't know how the hell you like. Yeah, he's a dude that almost has to stay off Twitter because that might just be the act.
Yes, great point. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to delete a tweet because people are like, Dimitri did it, and I was like, damn, he's covered everything. Yeah,
I mean, if it's a one-liner, man. If it's a one-liner.
I had a joke I was so proud of on Twitter. I don't know if I could put this in the act, but it was it's preposterous that food trucks don't deliver. It's a fucking truck. And they're like, Dimitri, and I had to delete it.
Of course. But yeah, it's a great observation. When you do one that's parallel thought with Dimitri, you're like, well, at least I'm thinking the right way. Because that dude, he gets to it quickly.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's got a great mind. Check him out if you don't know him. He's got a ton of shit.
They've got to know him. His Comedy Central half hour from back in the day. I guess they're all on Paramount Plus now. I don't know if you got that email, but
I did.
I love how they give you no fucking like the toolkit for the promotional stuff. Like even Comedy Central, they send me like a toolkit for that roast thing we're doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, here's some stuff to promote it. It's like a GIF of me looking like this. I'm like, why would I post this? I look like I had a brain injury. I'm like, are you guys like trying to not get hits on your shit?
It's so true. I mean, all these Netflix, they all do it when they show, hey, we got the new special coming out for Nate Bargatze. I shouldn't say him, but like somebody who's a comic, and the promo is like, I'll tell you what, these kids today, and that's it. And you're like, that's the bit? Give me anything with a punchline, a twist.
Nate's trailer was good, and that's actually shocked me because most of them are terrible. Most of the trailer.
Yes.
That's why I'm like, we made our own trailers. You know what I mean? So we get to kind of, when you self-produce it, you can be like, well, here's how I want it.
Yep. And yours was, it was like, what, 2 minutes of just 19 jokes in a row? And you're like, you see what we can do here? But you queefs won't do it. You just put up a dumb setup and then move on.
You know what I like about you? You use queef as a positive and a negative. You use queef the way like Jews use Shabbat and Shalom. Like, you know, like Shalom, hello, goodbye. You use queef as a I love you and go fuck yourself.
Yes, it's aloha.
The way and the way the Brits use cunt. You're kind of like this cunt. That's how you use queef. You're taking back queef.
I'm trying. Well, and this sounds bad, but I feel like every negative term for like a wussy guy is kind of homophobic. So I want to keep insulting men, but I don't want to insult gays. So I made queef.
Totally. Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, let's be progressive with it. I love it.
There you go.
I got another one, pet peeve from Ryan Mandick. Great last name, Mandick.
A great porn star.
This guy's got a Mandick. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Manditch, but I'm pronouncing it Mandick.
Either way,
he's fucking winning. Either way, Manditch. She's still doing the work in her head. She's thinking of dick if she's on a date with that guy. So
right. Sucks with a daughter.
Vanessa Mandick. Ugh.
Yeah, what am I getting tonight? I don't know.
Here's a pet peeve for you. When people are telling you about a movie you really want to see and they tell you there's a huge plot twist, it kind of ruins a huge part of the movie. And when people, and when you call people out for doing it, they always respond with, but I didn't tell you what it is. Yeah, that is annoying. Yeah, but you told too much.
Right. Yeah, that is a little much. I can live with that, but I get it. Just let me enjoy the movie, because now you're sitting there going, when's the twist? It's coming.
I'm okay if they keep it really vague. If they just go incredible ending, that's okay with me. That's fine. But man, Mackey, our boy Joe Mackey used to have the best joke about plot twists. The Crying Game, which if you haven't seen it, spoiler, you should have seen it. It's a great movie, but the twist is that she has a penis in the end. And Maggie goes, if that's the plot twist, you can just tell me. I don't need to sit through that whole movie.
Yeah, I don't need to sit through that whole date either. But yeah, that's hilarious. God, Mackey's so good. That's so funny. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, it was a classic. It's cool when there's, I mean, now you can't make a movie like that anymore because it would be all over message boards. But back in the day, I bet it was a decently kept secret.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Also, the big plot twist is tough because let's say you're watching The Sixth Sense, which was like this huge, big blowout movie, and I had no idea it was coming, and it made it that much better.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the good thing about watching an old movie that no one talks about that has a twist. You're like, oh, fuck. I had no. Yeah. I mean, everyone knows Usual Suspects. Everyone knows the big ones, but.
Right. That's why it pays to go back and watch some of these because nobody's talking about them. So it's super fresh. Everybody wants new now. New. What's the new thing? What's coming out? What's the hot song? It's like there's a ton of great art that people are just, especially younger people, they're missing out.
They're missing out because, it's all about social media, man. It's hard. Like, I think it's funny. It used to be like hard to commit to a book. Now it's hard to commit to a movie for young people.
Oh, so true. Wow. That's a great point. Yeah. I mean, I got my gal here. She's 29, 30, which is not that young, but I showed her Goodfellas and I look over and she's tweeting and TikToking and I'm like, this is one of the greatest action-y gangster, like, funny. It's got everything. And I know it's long, but you haven't gotten to the first 20.
Yeah, it's amazing how many, for some reason, Goodfellas, as great a movie as it is kind of a man movie. I've shown it to women where they just are kind of like, yeah, it's good.
It's true.
And
It's true.
I'm just responding like, that's it.
I know. But she can watch 90 Day Fiance and she's
Right.
like, this character's full of shit. She's a liar. He's cheating. He's been in jail. Like, she knows everything. And I'm like, this trash has got you stimulated, but
Yeah.
it's not my gender. So, I can't, they might see it differently, much like us with Goodfellas.
Yeah, 90 Day
really
Fiance is fucking weird. Yeah, well, that's the show that we're on our phone. And they're like, you're not paying attention? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm spacing on this when you couldn't fucking give him 10 minutes in a row to Scorsese.
Yeah. Women I don't want to generalize, but women like reality. They like people. They like relationships. They like interactions, where I think men like creation almost.
Scripted stuff. Scripted. I mean, women like scripted shows, but reality, I mean, Bravo's for women. I mean, Bravo's it's not for men.
Yes. And even women like Lifetime, like all those rape movies and home intruder movies, but like that's because it's based on real shit or could be real or might happen to them or whatever it is.
And it's just victimization. It's
right.
It's like, this is like, you see us, like a lot of movies are like the women or the femme fatale. This is a woman who's actually being victimized and they feel probably heard. I would think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably true. And I think it's almost biological. It goes back to caveman days. Like, is he going to come at me? Is he going to attack me? Is he safe? Is he bad? So I think that really hits like a gene or like a wiring in the ladies.
Yeah, I think so. But there are reality shows I like. I mean, I'll YouTube old blind date episodes. Like, this is fucking great.
That's great. But that's so silly and tongue in cheek.
Yeah, it's very self-aware.
Yeah. Like The Bachelor, I watched with her. It's just tear after tear. I grew up in a house with my dad. He used to hit us with a wrench and lock us in a room with no water. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? This is a date? I'm supposed to marry this lady?
But you've done reality TV and so have I. So we both know that they're prodding you and that they're trying to push. Yeah. Like, I remember doing America's Got Talent. They would try to get me to trash comics on before me. They'd be like, what do you think of him? I was like, no comment. I remember they would just try to get me to say shit. They'd be like, so how do you feel? They would try to just get me angry and worked up. They sit you in a room on America's Got Talent for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, with no snacks or anything.
Kids getting detained at the border are getting better treatment than I got at America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I did Last Comic Standing. They hated me because they want to pin you against each other, and they want it to be a real competition. They'd be like, what do you think out there? You think you're going to beat Johnson, or how do you feel? You going to win this thing? I was like, probably not. I don't have it. I'm not that interesting. I'm a 4-year comic. This guy's great. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't beat this guy. It's Gary Goldman or whatever.
I know, that's the thing. They want to make you into a villain or something. Mackie was so smart about that when he was on Last Comic too. I remember AGT, they just try to piss you off. Like, Simon Cowell's in a bad mood. I'm like, cool. So am I. And I'm not going home to a fucking yacht. So
right. That's hilarious.
They try to bait you. They would try to fucking piss you off. And I remember just so many. I remember they put me in a fucking hotel with construction, so I couldn't sleep. So I came in extra irritable. And they ask questions like, how excited are you for the possibility to win? And I remember being like, well, if you win, you have to do a residency in Vegas, right? And they say, yeah. And I go, fucking hate Vegas. And they were like, we can't use anything you're saying. And I was like, good. I just want you to use the stand-up. I don't want a sob story. I just want jokes on TV.
And that's hilarious. And they just keep lying to you the whole time. They're like, even the host is up there. It's some Seacrest or Nick Cannon, anti-Semite, whoever it is. And they're like, hey, folks, the funniest comic is battling it out. It's like, no, it's not. It's the comic with the war story or the dead mom or the gay dog or whatever it is. It ain't the funniest. It's the guy with the big narrative we can all get behind and have a sob story. My wife was in Nam and her legs got blown off, so I have to do jokes to pay the rent. And hey, this joke's got legs, unlike her. You're like, what the fuck is going on? I thought it was about my stand-up.
His name is Charlie, so it's weird. Anyway, it's the worst, man. Yeah, AGT, Last Comic. Who was it? Were you on the year I was on Last Comic? I think you were, right? No, I think you were the year before me.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who was in my group, but it was a weird group. It was like Louis Gomez, Greer Barnes, Metzger.
Damn. Oh man, I remember Metzger, that Michael Jackson joke that made it on. It was like one of the best jokes I ever heard.
That was great. That was
He's
great, man.
incredible. He's an
Metzger,
incredible writer.
genius. Him and Kyle Dunnigan have teamed up, and it's like some of the best comedy
Yeah.
in a while. It's amazing on Instagram.
Kyle Dunnigan's got one of my favorite jokes of all time. You know the one I'm talking about, where he
Yeah.
said, some women accuse me of having too close a relationship with my mom, but mother says all those women are jealous little sluts.
Man, he is so funny.
He's
one
amazing.
of
His
these guys-
Instagram is the best.
It's the best. Like, I show it to friends who aren't in comedy, and they're like, who is this guy? And I'm like, it's next level. It's the funniest shit. Like, you're not going to see anything this funny on Comedy Central or like Netflix or whatever. This is just balls out, smart, silly, topical humor. It's got everything. It's impressions, it's musical, it's jokes.
Yeah, he's got his Bill Maher, Caitlyn Jenner. They're fucking gold.
Oh, so gold. I mean, the
Speaking-
Barack Obama and the
Speaking
Biden.
of, did you see Dana Carvey's Joe Biden?
Yeah.
It's the first good Biden I've seen. Every other Biden, I'm like, all right, that's a good Biden.
Jim Carrey's is not great. Let's be honest. I mean, we all love Jim Carrey.
I don't think Jim Carrey has watched footage of Biden. I think he was like, I'm just going to do what I want to do.
He's doing Fire Marshal Bill. It's not even Biden.
It's like when famous people go to restaurants and they're like, I will have the chicken. And they're like, we don't have chicken. They're like, could you make a chicken? And they're just like, I guess. Yeah, that's his Biden.
Yeah. It's like Jim Carrey's just kind of pushing a button. He goes to a restaurant. What are you having, sir? All righty then. Like, well, that's not an order. Who needs an order?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I got a peeve. I got a peeve for you.
Oh, your peeve or email?
I'm doing one of mine.
Oh, great.
And it's going off a past peeve of yours. People that say, all the time.
Ooh, yeah.
I had a guy doing that to me. Wouldn't stop every line. And it's shit I shouldn't. It was like, so I was sleeping with my wife, and I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
It's good that I don't,
brutal.
right?
Stop making me valid. You're the one talking. You should be bringing something to the table, but you need me to keep reassuring you. You should reassure me with your fun idea or good story or joke.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's just work for you. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yep, I got it.
Do you have a box I can check real quick? Do you have a stylus I can do?
Yeah, exactly. I got a peeve too, but hey, let's hit this ad real quick. We got a doozy this week.
Oh, what do we got, Mark?
I love these guys. We are brought to you by Sheath Underwear, baby. I'm wearing them right now. I swear to God, I can stand up and show you. Fuck it, I'll do it. I'm not wearing pants.
Wow. Oh my God.
Can you see that?
This might get us thrown off YouTube.
But we'll get on Grindr and OnlyFans. But Sheath Underwear, it's the best. It's this genius military guy who figured, hey, I was out in the shit and my balls are sticking to my asshole and all this shit and I'm sweating and it separates the dick from the sack in a flap situation. And these two dick and balls they've been living in a studio their whole lives. They finally got a 2-bedroom. Now they can go in their own compartments and relax for 5 seconds. And it's a game changer. Keeps your balls
They're
off your
supportive
leg.
too. They're supportive, like the way women get support in their bras. We got that in our nuts now, fellas. They support
Finally.
that sack. It's not going to drag anymore. And I've worn them too. They were a little too small. I got to get another pair sent to me. Sheath, if you're listening, I'll take another large, please. And it's amazing. Go to sheathunderwear.com. Order with promo code DRUNK, and you get 20% off your first order. They have great everything though. It's not just the underwear. Everything on the site is great. The shirts, everything. 100% money back guarantee. If you're not happy, that's sheathunderwear.com. Promo code DRUNK.
Yes. Go to Sheath Underwear and let them support your balls. They look great. They're sexy. My gal likes them. It's just a game changer. Get that support. And once you go with supportive undies, you're never going to go back. So give it a shot, folks. Treat yourself and treat your package.
It's great. My gerbil loves them. He's really just, they're great. 20% off your first order and definitely give it a shot, guys.
Nice. Pet peeve, the
Nice.
guy. I'm so with you.
Oh, I'm with you, man. Let's do one. Should we do one more peeve?
Oh, sure.
Mark Tetsi. I hate when I get wasted with my friends and they want to talk about important shit while we're fucked up. Like if your friend says, "Where do you see yourself in 3 years?" I'm like, dude, I'm trying to stay hydrated enough to avoid blacking out. I'm more worried about where I see myself in 30 minutes and how I'm getting home. Huge fan of you guys. Hilarious pod. Macklin.
It's a good point. Hey, we're here to booze and bullshit. Take it easy with the miscarriage talk. You know?
That is there is a drunk like that who's very serious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I get it. We're friends. You got something going down, but like, you gotta couch it. Like, hey, man. Well, after a few more, can I take you off to the side? I gotta ask you something. Like we call that a Phil Hanley, and Phil Hanley's like, can we go over here and talk? I'm like, just tell me right here. What do you
Phil
have?
got me these glasses. These glasses are great. Phil got them for me.
Oh, nice.
Well, they're dainty, just like he is. But no, man, you're right. It is the serious drunk. They turn into like Marlon Brando and On the Waterfront.
Yes,
I could have been a contender. All right, dude. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about it?
I know.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And then plus with the booze infused, it makes them more passionate and more angry, and they start emoting more, and you're like, all right. This is not we're at fucking Fuddruckers, buddy. Take it easy.
You and I will get fired up sometimes when we're drunk, but I feel like it's passion. Yeah,
that's different. This is like, my mom left my dad, and they're like, all right.
Yeah, here's what you don't want to be toasting to. And that's when I found out I was adopted. Cheers.
Exactly. And then here's the trade-off. If you're gonna open up with some crazy, sad, dramatic thing, we'll listen, but we get to make fun of it too.
Oh, totally. Yeah. If you're going, I got molested, we'll say, well, put down that daiquiri.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes. He'll have 2 fingers of whiskey. Oh, sorry.
No, if you want to be the serious guy, I have a friend who's got a temper when he drinks, and it's fucking hilarious. I mean, you can't help but fuck with the guy because they get so worked up. It's childhood shit. Where you're like, the kid who lets it roll off his back doesn't get teased.
Right.
It's the same shit when you're an adult. If you're like, ha. But if the guy's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? You're like, I'm gonna keep making fun of you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. If you give us a reaction, we're gonna keep going. So just own it, and it'll go away. Like I used to wet the bed, and I would come out of the bedroom going, "Hey boys, guess who just marked their territory?" I would get ahead of it.
That's good. It is good to own it. Yeah, it's like 8 Mile,
Right, exactly.
You can't follow the guy who just shits on himself.
Oh, completely. Yeah, mom spaghetti. All right, I got a couple pet peeves, and tell me
Please.
where you land on this one.
I'm excited.
I hate, now this is kind of a elaborate, but I hate the break even gift. I had a guy break 2 of my Scotch glasses, which is fine. It happens, everybody's human. But then he got me 2 Scotch glasses like he's some kind of hero, like, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. I'm like, no, we're even now. Don't act like you're Al Capone coming in with a turkey on Thanksgiving to the poor family. You broke the glasses. You repaid the glasses. I appreciate it. You're a man of your word or whatever the hell, but we're even now.
Absolutely. And were they the same glasses, or did he go cheaper? Did he go better? What was the deal there?
I think they're the same, but it's still new. And they're shiny and clean. So it's better, I guess, but they're the same glasses.
Yeah, you break it, you buy it. That's what I mean, look, if it's a friend, I have friends, if they broke it, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But it is the right thing to do if you break someone's shit.
Yeah, and he didn't even have to replace it. Look, I can afford 2 glasses. It's no big deal. It happens all the time. But it was just like here you go. You're welcome. I'm the man. You're lucky I'm your friend. I was like, all right. You broke even.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think when they present it like, I got you something.
Yeah. Like he did it in front of the girl, and he was like, good guy over here, huh? Who else would do this?
Ooh.
And she's like, I don't know. It's a cup.
two things that bug me about that. One is that you're doing it for an audience. Hey, everybody,
Yes.
look what I got. Look what I got. Like everyone's applauding you and they're like, look, I'm a fucking hero. That's one.
Exactly.
Two is just the wanting attention for doing it. You should be like, hey, I'm really sorry again. Here you go. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, classy. Less is more.
Less is more. That's the move, I think.
Yeah. Now here's a one that we can all get behind, and I hope I haven't done this before, but I hate the prank joke. I had a guy do this, and he's a buddy, but he does this all the time, and he'll go like, I'm trying to think of a good one. We'll be at his house, and he's like, "What are you, crazy? Don't sit there. That's a good chair. You can't sit." And you're like, "Oh, geez, sorry." And he goes, "I'm joking." And you're like, "Oh, all right, you freaked me out. I mean, no one's laughing here. That's not really a joke. That's just like you scared me and got amused by it."
Well, the fucked up thing is there are people that treat their house like a museum. So you are actually on edge and you're just like, all right, I guess I can't touch anything here, you know? But
right.
Yeah, the phrase when you are at a friend's house is mi casa, su casa. You know, it's not supposed to be mi casa as my amusement park where I just fuck with you the entire time. So yeah, I hate that. That's infuriating.
But he'll do it anywhere, at a restaurant, and he'll find like, "Oh, what are you, crazy? You can't touch that." And you're like, "Oh, sorry, I don't know." You know, I grew up with a scary dad who would yell. Yeah, I go back to a kid. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, whatever you want." You know, my dad would get mad if he touched the walls. He's like, "Don't touch the wall. Get your hand off the walls." I was like, "Okay, sorry, Dad." But my friend does it, and he does it to like new people. They don't know him, so they're like, "Okay." And then he's like, "I'm joking. Chill out." And you're like, "Chill out. You just yelled at me."
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
It's a hidden prank show for an audience of one. No one finds it funny but him.
Exactly. And you can't relax. And I'll go so far as to say it's almost a weird power thing. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I got you there. I'm in control. You have to bow to me. And then you hide it behind the sheath of I'm joking. You're like, well, you just mean to me. And then you say you're joking, so it's cool. I don't know. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody except that guy.
It's the worst type of frat boy bullshit. It's like another one. People like this dude. They'll like, you know, the person that used to like, they'd be drunk and like twist your nipple.
Yeah.
Where you're like, hey, don't fucking do that.
Right,
it's pretty simple. No one likes that. I remember a guy who fucking ran a club did that to me, and I was like, if you do that again, I will never set foot in here again.
We're grown-ups, man. What are you doing?
I kind of was like blunt, like, hey, I will not come back here.
It hurts.
It hurts, and it's also like you're a fucking tool. You're the biggest tool.
Yeah, who is that for? Who's like, oh, good one, buddy. Yeah, my nips are bleeding, and that was fun. Like, no one enjoys that. I don't care who you are. The funnest guy, Van Wilder, nobody's into it.
Van Wilder ain't doing that shit.
No, let's have a scotch and laugh.
It's a bitch ass move. It's an insecure guy who's like, it's like what you said. It's like, it's a power thing.
Yeah.
It's some Napoleon bullshit.
Right. And I think we talk about toxic masculinity, and I hate all these labels and terms, but like growing up when I was younger, that was a lot of dudes hanging out, and I hated it then.
Me too.
I like jokes. I like stories. I like laughing. I'll wrestle with you. I'll do whatever. We'll play ball, but who the hell wants to be hurt? Like there was a lot of headlocks and noogies and wet willies, and I always hated that shit.
You know what it is? I think we kind of grew up with similar heroes. You know, I think we looked up to like, you know, Bill Murray, the guy who would say the funny, witty thing, and he was cool because he was always the wittiest, as opposed to like these kids who were like porkies. I want to be like those guys, you know?
Right. Yeah, good point. And Bill Murray, if he did zing you, he was zinging the judge or the army drill sergeant or the mayor, or you know, he was the everyman zinging the authority.
It was like a heckler video, but in a movie. It was kind of like we were living vicariously through him. I mean, it was
Completely.
The best.
Perfect point. Perfect. Yeah. Bill Murray. It's a perfect example.
Man, he was, I mean, he's still the coolest. I haven't seen the new Sofia Coppola movie, but I'd like to.
Oh, I didn't know there was one.
It's him and that really attractive actress who's Quincy Jones' daughter.
Rashida.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's so good. Like Lost in Translation, I don't even know how good of a movie it was, but I just like to watch him exist in the world. He's with the Asian people. He's drinking a whiskey. He's at a hotel. He's in China or wherever, or Japan. It was just fun to watch.
If you could get lit up drunk with any famous person, is he top of the list?
Oh, hands down. I mean,
He's number one?
Maybe number one. I mean, I would say Larry David, but he doesn't drink, so it would just be me being like, dude, the puffy shirt. You know, and he'd be like, jeez, get this mongoloid out of here. But Bill Murray's up there for sure.
He's up there.
Well, what about you? I mean, Paul Newman would be cool, but he's dead. So like, there's a lot of people who
Dangerfield, if he were alive, would be pretty great.
Oh my God, that would be incredible.
Because you it would be a fucking ugly night. It would start
Yes.
like you'd start just having like a beer at a Chinese restaurant, and you end up in some fucking gutter. You know, he's just pissing on the side of a building. You're like, this is kind of That's one for the books.
That would get dark really. Oh, I know this girl, Veronica. She'll take care of both of us. You're like, whoa, how'd we get here?
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I don't get no respect.
Hey, Sid, let me borrow 100. I'm a little shy. You'll never see that again.
This broad's into some yellow discipline, all right? I'll tell you. All right, I'll tell you.
This chick, she'll hit you with a shoe, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you, she stepped on my nuts and I bled. I'll tell you, she's all right. You know, she's all right. She's a good girl.
Good girl, yeah.
Really seems to care.
So that would be great, but yeah, that would get
Dangerfield's
dark.
up there, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like Pryor would be funny as hell, but it would get so dark.
Oh, yeah. You ever seen that video of Pryor doing blow and on an interview, and he's so high. He's not actually doing it on camera, but he's so coked out. And I've never even done coke, but I can just tell he's like, you know, he's licking his lips and doing all this shit. And he's talking about how brilliant Steve Martin is. And he's talking about loving young pussy. And the interviewer was like, oh yeah, it's like a British guy going, okay, I think we got it here. And he just won't stop. It's unreal. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Fuck, I gotta find that. Man, Pryor. I rewatched some old Pryor shit recently just because it's important. He's like a dude you gotta rewatch every year because you keep seeing it differently. You keep being like, oh man, he's
so true.
He's so funny.
I mean, just if you have it, even if you watch the first 15 minutes of live in concert, just the riffing, the comfortableness, this is a special. I mean, this was in theaters. Like, the pressure of a comedy special back then was enormous. Now it's like, we'll shoot something, we'll put it on YouTube. And back then, I mean, it is for us. But back then it was like, this is going on the movie theaters. And he just winged it and killed it. And you felt like you were there. You know, some things don't translate on TV. This is like, you're in the room.
That's such a good point. Yeah. High pressure in a theater. Like, yeah, it's a big, you know, you brought back the toast thing for this podcast. I want to do a toast, but it's a weird one because it's not as abstract as the one you did. A toast to Jessica Walter, man, legend. R.I.P. The great Jessica Walter. And George Segal died this week too, who I loved Just Shoot Me growing up. That was a great sitcom.
Great sitcom, underrated.
So underrated. Spade is great, and it's Wendy Malick is brilliant. I think so underrated.
That just had a murderer's row on it, and it was a joke a minute. It was so fun and punchy. Yeah, great show. It doesn't get its due.
And another movie, California Split, one of my faves. Robert Altman, George Segal, and Elliot Gould. Badass. It's incredible. Louis actually turned me on to it. It's great. Years ago. Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, and Jessica Walter, man. I mean, obviously Arrested Development, but I love her on Archer, man.
Archer, I did a deep dive once when she died because I was like, man, this is so sad. And she's done tons of voices. She's been in tons of comedy. Like she's got a resume on her. Yeah,
and she just lost her husband, I think Ron Liebman, like a couple years ago. But they were, I mean, shit, legend, insanely funny.
Who could play such a good Wasp? And she was pretty old and you didn't feel it. Like she had a she was so funny that it had a youthfulness and
Yes.
you didn't think like, oh, who's this old? Sometimes they have the grandma jokes, like rapping
No.
granny or whatever. And you're like, oh, she's cute. And, Betty White kind of shit. This was just funny, flat out funny for funny's sake. It wasn't like funny because she's old.
Exactly. She had an edge.
Yes, completely.
There was like an honesty to that character, Lucille Bluth, such an honesty to it, and such a brilliant comedic actress. And also, like, you're right, a woman of that age getting such significant roles. I don't think it was very normal back then.
I agree. And one great thing about comedy, we just want funny. We don't care if you're black, white, lady, old, young, whatever. We just want funny. And she was funny. Where Hollywood thinks they're so progressive, they won't book old people unless they're playing role. Whereas comedy's like, oh, she's funny, put her on.
That's a great point. Yeah, funny is over everything. And there's an honesty to that. So yeah, pretty cool.
Exactly. Good luck as a 45-year-old or plus in Hollywood. It's Kathy Bates, Meryl Streep, and then they're like, we'll put some makeup on Natalie Portman.
That is the fun. Was that you had the bit about like how just ugging up actors to get them other fucking roles? It's like like Brad Pitt is just ugly in this movie. Charlize Theron is just ugly in this movie, and you're like, all right,
exactly.
They're ugly people exist.
I know. I mean, if we're gonna book autistic people to play autistic or trans people to play trans people, what about the uggos?
Problem is, ugly people don't identify as ugly.
That's the key. That's why we can still make fun of them. Because they don't have a group.
I guess.
There's not like the ugly union.
It is interesting because I guess like Forrest Gump, I know he went like half or is whatever they say it, but he got that's not getting made today.
No, and it's beloved. It was Best Picture, I think.
I mean, I Am Sam, he went hard. That was pretty fucking, you rewatch that, you're like, this is fucking nuts.
Yeah, that was way too retarded. Like he went all in, and it wasn't even fun. It wasn't fun retard. It was like
sad.
Yeah, it was just sad, and then the daughter and the whole thing.
Yeah, it was like wasn't it? I remember seeing it like on a flight. It was a custody battle or something.
Yeah,
it was something sad. I think it was Dakota Fanning. It was one of the Fannings, I think.
Yeah. By the way, she's held it together, kid actor wise. I was watching her and going, she's going to be fucked. She's going to go Lindsay Lohan on us or Ricky Schroeder or one of these things. And she hung in there. She seems sane.
Yeah, I don't know how these kids do it. You see Corey Feldman, you're like, that poor guy, man. He does not, like, he must have had it rough as a kid in Hollywood.
I mean, where the hell's Corey Haim? That's all you need to know. Yeah.
Dude, what's weird is he's hung around. It's funny when you see a kid and you're like, well, this kid must have it all,
Yeah, I know.
And then his life is like, because he's funny as hell in Goonies. As a kid actor, he's amazing.
There's something bad about that huge rise. Like, I think everything ebbs and flows in life. Look, Bill Cosby's saying, pull your pants up, wearing a sweater, but then he's the worst human being on earth. Everything evens out. And I think if you go that high that early, you got to go low that early. And it's good to just, do what we do and barely make it for 40 years. And then we'll pop when we're 61 and people go, hey, we're great. And then we'll die.
We'll be on dialysis and like, good news, you just popped.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You finally are doing theaters.
You got any recs?
I got too many recs, so I'll blow through.
Do as many as you feel, man.
Well, as a guy on the road, I'm on a flight every 10 seconds, and I'm a big movie on the flight guy because for once in your life, your phone is off. You can really escape and put the headphones on and just zone into that movie like we used to do back when, there wasn't Facebook and all this shit, TikTok. And I rewatched White Men Can't Jump, and I got to say, that is in my top 5 movies. It's just so funny. It's so well done. It captures that time. I grew up in a black neighborhood, so that like hits home for me with all the like the hip hop stuff and the basketball culture. And man, do I love that movie. And some of those jokes hold up, and they're funnier than any comedy you see.
I gotta rewatch it. I loved it as a kid. I remember. I mean, when Woody dunks, you're just so happy, and Wesley is really funny. I mean, that's
really
the thing.
Funny.
It's a great
Fifth Element. Like, he's funny in Demolition Man. He's really underrated comedically.
Demolition Man, he's great. Yeah, Wesley he really got fucked with that tax shit. That really sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, Woody and I mean, just the idea of it's a buddy comedy. I mean, the two guys
Completely.
who kind of can't stand each other having to work together. It's a cop buddy comedy, essentially, right?
Yeah, they just found a new format, a new structure, basketball, street ball. I think it's a Ron Singleton, John
Singleton. Did he make it?
I think he did, or Ron Shelton, one of those guys. I think he's dead now, either way. But
John Singleton passed away, I know.
yeah, but it's just so good. And
Ron Shelton.
Okay, I was way off. But he's it's just so, you love both of them and you want them to succeed. There's never a lull. There's never a bore. There's a weird part where the only hiccup in that movie is Rosie Perez is learning. She loves fun facts. And one of the facts she learns is foods that start with the letter Q. And then she goes on Jeopardy, and that's a category. It's like, all right, well, this is a little bit of a leap here, but we'll allow it. It's Hollywood.
The QAnon people are like, we told you. Do you see what that is? We told you. They predicted it. Yeah, no, she's so hot in that movie, and she's still kind of hot, I think. I mean,
so hot, and her tits are just jumping around, and you're like, what? This is great. They never come at you with them, but they're just hanging out of a tank top over here. It's fun.
Woody Harrelson has had such a cool career.
I love that guy. He's
just good in everything. He's good in dramas or comedies or whatever. He just rules.
Was it True Detective? But then he's in No Country for Old Men. Then he's in White Man Can't Jump. Then he's in what's that with that Zombie Land? Like, he's everything. He's all over.
People versus Larry Flint. He's great in that. Yeah, no, it's insane, dude. His resume is insane, and he's Kingpin, dude.
Kingpin, love it.
Speaking of Bill Murray, before fuck.
Oh,
that's a good ass movie.
That is so. I saw that on a date, and I totally lost interest in the girl. I was like, I was obsessed.
You know what it is? You ever see a really funny movie on a first date, and she doesn't think it's that funny, and you're like,
miserable.
That's my thing. Well, I'm like, not only are you not admitting that this is funny, it's almost like they admit that you're not funny because you're like, well, I love this.
Yeah, it's so true. But also, hey, lady, the whole theater's laughing. So who's wrong here?
Oh, I mean, unreal.
Great movie. Great comedy. All right. I want to mix and match here. Since I'm saying White Man Can't Jump, I'm going all the way on the other end of the spectrum, and I'm throwing out Lady Bird. Such a good script.
I thought you were going to say Birth of a Nation. I was like, Jesus, all right.
Yeah, Roots is great. No. Lady Bird, so good. You almost Freudian me. So good. The acting is amazing. Metcalf, what's her name? Laurie Metcalf.
Laurie Metcalf, yeah.
Unbelievable. The Irish chick, Rory Sorhella, I can't say her name.
Saoirse Ronan?
Yes, she's great. And man,
she's
just
great.
Like a coming of age, perfect capture of the time it's shot in. It's great.
She's a great actress, and she's great in everything she's in. She's in so many. She was in Brooklyn was a really good movie she was in, and
she had a run.
Little Woman. She's Little Women. I mean, Little Woman. Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. Just about one.
Little Woman.
It's about one really small woman who just.
Right.
Yeah, those are good. So that's a good Lady Bird. I know you love that movie. I remember when it first came out. You told me it's a good movie.
It's good.
It's got heart.
Yeah, and then I rewatched Band of Brothers. I forgot how good that is. That was back before miniseries. Oh, it's great. I mean, if you like war stuff, it's great.
I do.
Yeah, and it's a Spielberg joint, which is fun. But yeah, I could keep going. I wrote that, and We May Destroy You. Great show. It didn't get any love. I think it's too real. It's a BBC show with that crazy looking black chick. What's her name? She's in some other show called Bubblegum.
She's in a lot. She's doing yeah. I know Salakis keeps telling me to watch this.
Oh, I mean, it's heavy. It's heavy, but it's so honest that
Michaela Cole.
Yes, she's great. I think she wrote a lot of it or directed a lot of it, and
everyone loves her. I got to give it a go.
So real, and it kind of goes against the narrative. So I don't think people wrote about it that much. Like the Times didn't write about it, and like no reviews, because it's not just saying like, this is bad or this is good. It's just like, nah, shit happens on every side. Everybody's flawed. We're all people. Some white people are nice. Some white people are bad. Some women are evil. Some women are not. It just takes it all out of context. It's great. You got to see it.
I've heard amazing things. People love that show. Maybe I'll watch it this week.
It's heavy though, so watch out.
I'll watch it. It's tough. A lot of shows I'll watch like as I'm winding down. It's tough when they just fuck you up, you know. But
I know. It's like the friend who brings up the miscarriage. You're like, we just want to chill. What do you reckon?
I got a few recs too. First off, this one's a little weirder, but you and I both complain about dandruff. This thing, little scrubby thing. Oh, it's green. You see that?
Oh, good call.
Little scalp thing. You rub it in. It's great. It feels nice too in the shower. Little scalp rubber. Rub the shampoo in.
I love it. You got a real Brillo pad up there. So that thing, you got to get in there.
I get in there, buddy. It's great. And then here's another weird one. These right here. These are blue light glasses. And if you watch a show before bed, they're like $20 on Amazon or wherever you get them. You watch a show before bed, it's much easier on your eyes. Like sometimes you watch a show before bed and you're like, fuck, it's really hard to fall asleep. Not anymore, baby.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, because the blue light keeps you up.
So it's kind of nice that they cut them out. Yeah. And then last one. So I told you sometimes they'll do short stories before bed. It's a nice way to do, because you get that a whole book will take. I'll do that too, but short stories, I get the completion I get some closure by the end of the night. I kind of like that. So this guy. I love this guy Murakami. He's great, great Japanese writer. But he wrote it's this book called Men Without Women. And for some reason, it just like works right now for me because it's about like isolation and about men who have dealt with loss, like, you know, either the women in these stories of like they've died or met. First story is my favorite one, and it's basically the idea of it's like this old actor, like just picture this old kind of like washed up character actor, but he's had a good career, and he's got a chauffeur, and she's this fucked up woman basically. And it starts with all these like kind of cliches where you're kind of like, this is what I love about this writer is like, you always think you kind of know. It's like a great bit where you're like, I know where this is going. But he always fucks you by the end where you're like, Jesus, I had no idea. It's a slow burn always, but basically it's about his wife who died, and he kind of tells her how he knew she was cheating on him with this younger kind of flash in the pan actor. And it really fucked him up. So he befriends the actor, and the actor doesn't know he knows, but he uses it to fuck with him. And he's like, I'm using it to like unravel him. And it kind of ends. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say how it ends, but it's cool. It's only like 40 pages or something. It's really good. And
big plot twist.
Yeah, he's one of the best writers, I think. I love him.
Wow, that's like Edgar Allan Poe kind of.
It gets weird and dark, and but it's just real. It's like you can see why this dude would be so fucking angry and why he would use it to torment this other guy. And you could tell he's smarter than him, but you still kind of feel for this other guy, like, because the wife's death affected him as well. And he did something really shitty, but he's hurt by it. It's interesting. They're complex characters. I love it. So I'm a big fan. Right. I'm a big fan. So I love it. And, you know.
That's so cool. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I'm so fascinated with these short story writers because did like a joke I get, okay, that something weird happened or you thought of something in the shower, so you write a joke about it. Did that happen to him, or did he just create that whole thing in his mind and said, I got to get it out? That's so cool to me.
I don't know. I would think, and like this is a complete guess because I have no idea either, but maybe I bet they read stories, news stories, maybe. I bet maybe they know someone kind of like that. You know how they like, we'll take jokes. Sometimes we're like, well, this is kind of true. This is like, there's truth to this. Even if it's not 100% true, there's truth in here.
Yes.
I bet that's what they do.
Interesting. Yeah. That might be.
But then they probably just create a world based off that. I'm sure a lot of it's bullshit.
Right. Well, I read a fun fact when it said, like 94% of our thinking is replaying memories and creating scenarios. You know, when you're fighting with somebody and you're like, oh man, you're kind of arguing with them in your head and shit, or like you're going on a date, so you kind of like plan the date out in your head. All right, it's gonna go like this, then I'm gonna go in for the kiss, and then we're gonna get a drink. And it never works out and all that, but that's most of your thinking. And maybe these guys or these gals who write books are just the best at that. So they're recreating or creating stuff in their head, and they're like, "This is pretty good." Like I'm just making up shit in my head. I should write this.
Right, like this is what could have happened.
Right. They're just better at it.
Yeah, I mean that's imagination, right? I mean that's just that's what it is to be imaginative. So I guess so. Yeah, but it's I love reading murder mysteries, so it's good to just take a break with some shit that's a little more grounded.
Yeah, but that's still heavy shit. I mean, the cheating with and then befriending the guy. I mean, that's a doozy.
Yeah. No, it's heavy.
Wow, man. How do you get the Rex with like how do you find these stories?
I think my brother turned me on to Murakami originally. He loves him.
Wow.
And I mean, here's another one that's really would probably be good for right now. 'Cause I think it's called After the Quake. Let me double check the title. Read it a long time ago. It was great, but it's like, it's after this awful earthquake. And it's like,
Yeah.
you go to these clubs and it feels like we got hit by something. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah, it's called After the Quake. It's another really good one, I think.
Now let me ask you this, because you read a lot. Have you ever picked up a
Sometimes
book?
less than I used to.
Have you ever gotten 100 pages in and going, I fucking hate this. I want to
Yeah.
stop, but I feel guilty about stopping, but I
Totally.
should keep going. Like, what do you do there? Do you stop or do you keep going?
I stop.
Okay.
I don't want to just waste I don't want to waste like 2 weeks.
Right. All right. I always wondered that because my mom is such a nut. She's like, I just finish it, and I'm like, it's a 400-page book, and she's like, yeah, I finished it. I started it.
Yeah, sometimes I don't like it, but I like it just enough to be like, I want to know what happens. But I guess you could
Right.
also just look that up online these days. I don't know. I
That's
don't
true.
I don't know.
All
I
right.
read way less than I used to. I just get anxious before bed a lot, so I have to really force myself because
I'm
it's so
the same
easy
way.
to just throw on like a 30 Rock or something.
Yeah. I now put a podcast I put one earbud in and like lay down with a pod. It kind of lulls me to sleep.
That
It's
makes
so
sense.
sad because
No,
it's
that makes
nice.
sense, dude. Books
I
on tape,
guess-
it's same shit. That totally makes sense to me.
I know, but like when I was 15, I just went to bed. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, it's hard to go to bed. I'm trying to take melatonin because melatonin gives me these fucked up graphic nightmares.
Really?
You ever take it?
I take it all the time.
And you never get nightmares on it?
I've been taking it for years, so maybe not. And then I never really remember my dreams.
I also sometimes think I can't tell if it's the combination of alcohol and sometimes I'll just take melatonin. I get really bad nightmares, but if I drink and I take it, I'm like, ooh, this ain't pretty.
Yeah, I can see that. I get wacky nightmares when I nap. When I'm out for 8 hours or 7 hours, I'm just out. But when I nap on a plane, I wake up, I'm like, oh, geez, all right. I thought I was being attacked or I was in like a war or something. But,
The worst one is when you're on a plane and you conk out and you dream the plane's crashing and then you just wake up and you're like, all right.
woo.
Man,
It's a great feeling when you have a nightmare and you wake up and you're relieved that this is your world. Like, oh, I thought I was there. This is my actual life. This is thank God for this.
Yeah, it sucks when you have a nightmare and you wake up and you're like, let me go back to sleep.
Hey, that's a bit. That's funny. I liked it better when I was getting stabbed by my nurse practitioner.
Should we do another peeve email?
Sure, yeah. I was looking for a few. I couldn't find a peeve in there.
Hey, pet peeve. I just like the peeves. They're easier to riff on here.
Love a
And
peeve.
Pet peeve of mine is when someone says something and you disagree with it and they immediately change their opinion to avoid conflict.
Oh,
They could say, I love the snow. And you say, I hate it. And they immediately agree. Hey, fuckface, stand your ground, you boring piece of shit. I could convince you the sky's orange just because you don't want to have the slightest bit of a friendly argument. Love the pod, guys. That's from Bob Dower.
I've been guilty of that, and
Yeah, me too. Because you just want to avoid. I mean, I don't agree. But I mean, you kind of just like, oh, you think that, and I'll bail.
right, yeah. And I tend to do it with like comics I respect, bigger comics. Some famous guy, he's like, oh man, I saw this. I'm like, I loved it, and he's like, I hate it. I'm like, yeah, I hated it too, because I just want him to like me. But he would actually like me more if we could have an interesting debate about it.
Yeah, that's true. I'll do it to just avoid, like if it's politics, I'm kind of just like, I don't want to argue fucking politics for 40 minutes at the cellar when I haven't seen someone in years,
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, if it's something that's gonna maybe put a sour taste in the room,
Yeah.
I'll try to nip that in the bud. But if it's something really casual, then yeah, if it's a movie or something, of course. I mean, everyone, for some reason, politics really can ruin a
I
room.
know, because you know what you never hear anymore with politics or anything really is people going, "That's a good point. I never thought of it that way." I hear you. It's always just I need to win. I need to beat you. There's no
Are you
like,
out of your mind? Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
there's no discussion. There's no absorbing what they're saying. You're just throwing facts at each other, and you're like, but we're not
but
getting
also
anywhere.
a lot of people who want to have these arguments, more people are into conspiracy theories than ever. So you're arguing
Ah,
with people who sometimes believe just batshit crazy things, and you're just
I know.
like, all right, like what am I gonna do? Like talk them out of it? You're not. You just kind of
I
have to be like,
know.
okay. I,
Exactly.
I was
I
talking to
mean,
someone who said some really racist shit to me the other day, and I was like, "You don't believe that, though?" And he was like, "No, that's true." And I was just like, "All right." I was just like, we argued for like 10 minutes. I'm like, "What am I going to waste my whole day on this idiot?"
exactly. I absorb it and I move on. I had a guy once talking about flat earther. He's like, "What about flat Earth? It's kind of possible. It could be a flat Earth. There's a horizon." I was like, "What are you crazy?" He's like, "Can you believe the Earth is flat?" I'm like, "I can't believe you're allowed to have a child. Like, we're fucked. You could have a kid. You really think the Earth is flat? Like, come on." Bill
Yeah, a
Burr
lot of
said it
crazy.
best. He said the internet is everybody can have a voice, and eventually somebody's going to say the Earth is flat, and it's so true because if you give anybody a voice, they'll just say crazy shit.
It's so true, and it's also like some people have created these presences online because they see what gets the most engagement, and what gets the most
Yes,
engagement is saying something provocative but also stupid.
so true.
And people want attention more than they want to even be right. So sometimes people almost do a character on there to just
Yep,
build themselves up and be like, what? I'm being sarcastic. Well, now you have a following
I
of a
know,
bunch
I
of dumb.
know.
So beware of what you're building here as well.
And I know. And then if you call them out on that, they get mad at you, and they're like, "No, no, this is who I am. You saying I'm disingenuous?" Like, yes, yes, and it's okay. Just be that character and own it. But like, don't get mad at me for calling you out. I've met you. You're like more normal in real
Yeah.
life.
You're a normal person, but then you go on there and you're nuts. And then they corner you. One, you're like, all right, I love the snow, whatever,
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
it's I relate to this. I'm like, I definitely do what he says, even though it's annoying. I get annoyed when people do it, but I do it for sure.
I got a pet peeve from a British guy, so some of the lingo is a little kooky, which is fun. Lee Stoll says, "I got a pet peeve. My pet peeve has to be when going into a store of any description and the server, clerk, I'm English, whatever you call them, cashier, I don't know, can't seem to finish the conversation with their colleague before serving you. I'm right here. Shut the fuck up and do your job, you fucking twat." I get that. When the cashier is having a chit chat with the other cashier or the manager, and look, they
Sure.
can have their business talk, but when they're like, "Oh man, did you see that Knicks game?" and you're like, "I'm right here waiting. You can do this conversation anytime."
Right. If they're showing you an Instagram video, if they're showing their coworker an
Yes.
Instagram video, you're like, come on, man. Yeah, that happened to me the other day. And I was kind of like, all right, just be patient.
Yeah, you just got to sit through it. He said,
No, I get that. Yeah, especially in New York, where you're like, it's weird. New York's energy is kind of slowed down a little bit because of the pandemic,
yes,
So New York feels a little more southern. It used to be so like
yes.
bam, 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 because the lines were always so long, and now the lines aren't as long.
So true. Great point. And yeah, you can kind of just take your time a little more. There's no one on the sidewalk. There's a less hustle and bustle. You're right. And I'll tell you, we're going to have to get back into it. And that could be an ugly transition.
Well, I miss that pace. I like
I
the
do
the
too.
hustle and bustle pace of New York. I like that you're like, all right, let's fucking move it. I like this. I like this
Same.
energy and yeah, we'll get back to it. I was out last 2 nights in the West Village and I was like, oh, it feels fucking back, dude. It
All right.
feels pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, just getting a cab now, you're like, where are all the cabs? But
Dude,
there's less
that's
demand. So there's less
one time about a
cabs.
pet peeve. Fuck. Standing on the corner for 20 minutes for a fucking yellow cab because
I know. You used to be fighting off cab. You do right. You're right. Now I'm like, where the fuck's the cab?
Ubers really fucked the cabs, man, because now Ubers are way more expensive.
They are.
Ubers, they came in low. They got the
Yep.
customers. They fucked the
Yep.
cabs. The cab drivers got fucked on their medallions. Their medallions are
Yep.
worthless now. So that was their retirement. And now the cabs are fucked. And now we're fucked because we're stuck with Uber. But there will be a new car service. But I just miss the yellow cab. I like the ritual of just like cab, you hop
I
in,
do
you
too.
move.
Yeah, I know all about the Uber shit because I've heard it from 13 cab drivers. fuck them. They ruin everything. I come here to support my family. And I'm like, all right, I'm just trying to get to 33rd Street, buddy. Like I've heard every rant from every cabbie when Uber came out.
But it is pretty fucked up, like, you know, that they weren't protected at all. Like it is kind of fucked up.
Totally. But you know, there is the argument, and look, I'm just playing devil's anal here, but like, you know, it's like automated trucking is coming, and all these truck drivers are like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? And it's like, I know, but we could say the same thing for horse and buggy guys when the car was invented, and so on and so on.
Yeah, the horse and buggy guy. Then you're like, a cab. That was pretty fucking next level, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, we do it too. These YouTubers are coming in. These guys don't even know how to write a joke. They got 16 million followers, and they bomb on stage. What the fuck, you know?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's also like, I bet, and now the horse and carriage are super expensive. You're like $400 to get to 34th Street. They're like, hey, that's the fucking shakes, kid. You know?
Yeah. You're like, no wonder this horse has scurvy, and you're a registered sex offender. I mean, like, those horse guys are the fucking most degenerate guys. They got the flask, they got the top hat, they're wearing sweatpants.
It's funny how that's like supposed to be romantic, and then you're just like, this is romantic? Or fucking, there's a rat in the seat next to me. What the hell?
I know, there's blankets from the 40s. It's got smallpox on it. You know, like, what are we doing here? Some guy jizzed in the back seat of that buggy. Let's be honest.
Buggy's a fucking funny word, too.
Buggy's funny. That's a Dave Attell joke. He's like, I fucked an Amish woman. We did it horse and buggy style. Yes, Jebediah. That's an old one.
He's the best.
Oh, yeah.
He said to me the other day, he goes, I was on the road, man. Even the hecklers are getting rusty.
So good.
He's the funniest guy.
Yeah.
What, anything else we forgot? Should we do a bit?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I forgot. Good call. Let me see. I got a couple cooking. Tell me, just tell me this is dumb, and I'll get rid of it. Somebody, I did a fat joke on stage, and somebody came up to me afterwards, like, hey, I got to tell you, like, those days are over. Like, fat is a slur now. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but you have to admit that it's the only slur that fluctuates. You can lose and gain weight. You can't do that with race. You know, it's not like, hey, around the holidays, I get real black. Something like that, you know, because you can go in and out of fat.
Interesting.
But you can't go in and out of Mexican. It's just you're Mexican or you're not Mexican. Or you're gay, you're not gay.
Yeah, you lose weight, people congratulate you. You lose race, people are like, is she okay?
Right. What's going on with
Sammy Sosa?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough one because you can lose the weight and we congratulate you. No one's like, hey, I lost 40 Mexicans, or woo, we got to throw you a party or whatever it is.
It's interesting. Yeah, weight. I think it's like, this isn't the funny angle yet, but it's like part of the weight loss culture is that we congratulate people. So it's like, by congratulating someone, you're being like, you got healthy.
I know.
That's part of the, you know.
It throws in the face of the whole, like, big is beautiful, but I'm like, well, your wedding's coming up and you keep trying to lose weight. So you don't even believe your bullshit.
Yeah, maybe this is the only time weight and race fluctuates. Oprah.
Hey, that's great. But then I don't want some black guy being like, oh, she's not black enough. I'm like, all right.
No, I know. I'm just fucking fun.
Yeah,
but
that's funny. That's funny. Michael Jackson, I mean, that's kind of hack, and he's dead.
I know.
But that was always the big thing. Like, he used to be black, and now he's white.
I know. It's tough. It just played out. It's like an old played out one. It's tough.
Yeah.
But I think there's something there. I think the idea of race fluctuating.
Yeah. That'd be kind of nice.
Around the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm dating like a black guy. Like, I'm dating a white chick now, so I'm trying to lose some of my black and meet her family before I meet her family or something like that.
I don't think that's going to work out of your mouth, though.
Yeah, maybe I'll change.
That's going to work out a black comic.
Right.
That joke would work if your race fluctuated.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd be a killer comic if I could fluctuate race.
You're going up for your uptown spot. You're like, let me get a little shade here. Going back down to the
Yeah.
village. Let me get a little whiter.
Oh, how about I got a test coming up? I'll get more Asian. I'm working on my Asian just to pass the test. You know, something. Fluctuating race would be amazing because every race has some kind of perk.
But then you're going into stereotype territory,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
the bit is better. You don't want it to be a stereotype joke.
True, but I keep it positive. But yeah, you're right. You're right. All right.
Race fluctuate. The premise is something I don't know what the turn is.
Yeah, I think I get black around the holidays will hit, but it does need more
I need black around the holidays.
around the holidays.
So
I
what
get
are you
real
what are you
black.
saying when you say like as in you're like you're a little louder at the table? Is that the joke?
No, just the joke is like most people gain a ton of weight around Christmas and Thanksgiving, and I'm saying if race could fluctuate, that's just a funny sentence to be like, oh, around the holidays I get blacker.
Oh, so yeah, just like being just silliness. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm
Hmm.
not saying louder on the table. That's where your brain went.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking of like well, you said the other stereotype of the test. I'm like maybe it's like a stereotype. I didn't.
Right. No. Just saying, like, it'd be funny if you could fluctuate race. But yeah, it's tough. Fat is a slur. It's the only slur you can lose, too. You know, like if somebody calls you gay, you can't be like, all right, well, next time you see me, I'm gonna be straight as an arrow.
There might be a Rachel Dolezal joke in here if you do it right. Because
Yeah, for sure.
she lost it and it wasn't good.
Yeah. That I watched the documentary about her. It's fucking fascinating.
She's weird.
It's an interesting thing because oppression is bad, and so many people want to be perceived as people who are oppressed. I guess for the street cred.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about. I think that's how it works in like rap. 50 Cent got so much
Right.
respect for being shot 9 times, but who the fuck wants to be shot 9 times? Whereas like
Exactly.
in comedy, it's like mentally ill. It's like this guy's fucked up in the head, and that gives you street or like because of
Right.
Pryor. Whenever some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever,
Drug addict, alcoholic,
yeah.
porn. I grew up in a brothel, so you're like, whoa, this guy's got an origin story. But I will say, and nobody wants to admit it, Jews don't get the oppression points.
Because it's similar to Asian. I think Jews and Asians have
wasn't
both
here?
been oppressed. No, Jews and Asians were both oppressed, but
They're doing really well.
they're doing pretty well financially. Not everyone, but you know, a lot of them are doing fairly well. Yeah.
But shouldn't that be more of a high five? Like, not only were you oppressed, but you turned it a complete 180 and now are doing way better than most.
No, for
other
the same
groups.
reason people like the first superhero movie, but they don't like the second and the third, you know?
Aha.
They like to see the struggle, but they don't like to see when you're just that person as much.
Ah, it's so true. Yeah. What is that?
It's more
It's human
relatable.
nature.
I mean, that's why we talked about these reality shows that's why they try to sell you as that, because people like that, but we just care about the jokes. So that's what separates us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think
so
a lot of
true.
people, they're watching The Voice or something at home. They want the person who's like, my daddy was shot in the face and I got pushed off a cliff and I survived, and I sang and the authorities heard me, and that's when I knew my voice was powerful. And
Right. Yeah. All right. What do you got?
so there's an idea. I've been noodling with this, but it's about how you can't tell you're in a bad relationship while you're in it. It's like the only thing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like you're in a bad thing, it's fucked up, but your friends can tell, you can't tell. It's kind of like it's the only thing that's like that, where your phone breaks, you know it's broken.
Yeah.
Your phone is broken, you're not going to be like, man, this isn't working. Your friends are just like, you're like, yeah, this looks horrible, and you're just like, you should see it when you're not around. It's actually a pretty good phone, and they're just like, it looks pretty shitty. So I think like all these angles that go off that, like how
That's interesting.
then like 6 months later, you're thinking like it did shut down all the time with no explanation. It just would shut down on me.
Yeah, right.
Trying to keep a phone thing
right.
going in my head.
Yeah, it's true. It's almost kind of like childhood. You're just like, oh, this is what life is. You don't know, and then you go to
Ooh.
therapy, and they're like, oh, you were you were fucked. You know, you were beaten and you were ridiculed, and your mom's a drunk or whatever it is. You're like, oh yeah, but you don't know then because you're just in it. This is what life is.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have that your friend's parents are like, you should sleep over or we should talk. Your mom's weird, and you're like, what? It's true.
Yeah,
You don't really see it when you're in it. You get used to it. Trying to think of an analogy there.
You get
Your friends
it's
can
not
see it. It's an outsider perspective. As an outsider, you're like, oh, it's so obvious. But when you're in it, it is tough.
yeah, there's something about how you're just used to it.
Yeah.
When you've
it's
had a
kinda
cracked screen on your phone for long enough, you forgot what a regular phone looks like.
Right. It's like when it's like a fish in a fish tank. He just thinks that's what living is. He's like, hey, there's a tank, you get fed. And then there's some fish in the ocean like, dude, this is it. You're fucked. You don't even realize it.
Kind of like you've been on coach your whole life, and then one time you get bumped up, and you're like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
I've been living like an animal."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. You're finally comfortable. You're not in that middle seat. Yeah. Yeah, you
I don't know.
can't
I don't
see
know
it.
the angle yet, but I'll crack this.
It's everybody else can see it, which is sad because you're the one in the relationship.
Yeah, it's like you have relationship goggles. You know, it's like
I like that. I like
yeah,
that.
I don't quite know yet.
Yeah. Huh. And then when you get out of it, you're like, damn, that was bad.
Yeah, I was trying to do the phone thing. Like it does shut down on me. It did shut down with no explanation. It was kind of maybe there's something about it had all it saw all my emails. Something like that. Looked at all my
Right.
emails.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll crack this this week.
It's so true because I've seen friends in relationships. I'm like, what are they doing? But it just becomes like, it's almost like an addict where you're like, dude, you're on heroin. You're nodding off at the library and you don't even realize it. There needs to be a relationship intervention or something. Like you need a guy to come in and go, this is crazy.
Because then you just get mad
Yeah.
at your friends. You can't do that because then you're just
Can't
like,
do it.
fuck you. You can't even do it right after a breakup because you will, but then they're mad when they get back together. There's no winning.
That's a good point.
Until they get a new phone. That's the only time you can say it.
Yes, that's good. That's good. You get a new phone and they're like, I got to tell you, that old phone was tough. You never answered your text. I couldn't get a hold of you. It was bad reception, no connection.
No connection. That's good. Yeah. Fucking, you're like, a Samsung Galaxy. What was I thinking? Yeah. Or something.
Yeah, exactly. The flip phone, really? I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, it's good.
I like it.
It's been a hot app, man. It's been a hot app.
Heavy.
It's been a good one.
Good app,
We had another good round, man.
We'll wrap it up. And folks at home, I read the emails, I read the tweets. They're drinking with us. They put us on. It's like a warm bath. They sit back and they feel like they're hanging out with us. It's nice.
I love it, man. Follow us and We Might Be Drunk on Instagram. Obviously, follow Mark and myself. See us on the road. Coming up, I'll be in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Cleveland, AC, DC, all over.
Nice. Good.
Mark,
rooms.
where are you going to be?
I'm at the Paramount in Austin. We added a show.
Oh shit, that's a beautiful venue.
Is it? I don't know that
it's beautiful.
place.
Yeah.
I've walked by it 8,000 times, never went in.
Gorgeous.
Miami Improv. I just want to go down to Miami and then live it up. Wise Guys, one of my favorites, underrated. Sleeper, great club. Tacoma, Magoobies,
Classics.
Hartford, Spokane, Virginia Beach, Portland, Oregon, Helium. So yeah, ton of fun stuff coming up. Syracuse, that's going to be a fight. But yeah,
Tampa, Raleigh, I got.
Oh, nice. Love Raleigh.
OKC. Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a good time, man. And go to email us at wemightbedrunkpod@gmail.com with all your shit. I'm loving this, man. This is a good pod. I'm having fun with it.
Great pod. We just got a shout out by some lady Oh shit, she's like a comedy fan in Brooklyn, I think, and she gave us a shout out on YouTube. She did like the top 10 things to look for in 2020, and we were one of them.
Wow, that's fucking nice.
Yeah, nice. I love getting a lady shout out. That's nice.
Leon Phelps from Tim Meadows used to be the ladies' man. Ooh, it's a lady. I love that.
Never saw that movie.
It's pretty good. It's
All
better
right.
than you. Will Ferrell is fucking funny in it.
He's the best.
It's got moments.
All right, I'll check it out. And yeah, write in. Patreon's cooking. We're reading emails, reading jokes, recs, tweets, drink ideas, you name it. So keep throwing shit at us because we've drank everything on the planet. So I need some new cocktails.
For sure. And yeah, keep throwing drinks at us. I'm loving it. Keep throwing your recs, your peeves, your jokes, everything. And hit us up on the Patreon, patreon.com/we might be drunk pod.
At Gmail. There you go.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right,
So we'll
folks.
see you guys there.
Yes. Thank you. Keep drinking.
Keep drinking.